Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the first time if you're brand new here. And as I always say, thank you so much for joining me for our Pick a Card reading. And today's topic, quite straightforward, is all about your messages and predictions for the month of September 2025. And today we are picking with both objects and cards. I usually pick the cards on screen, but this time I wanted to pick them beforehand so I had time to cover up their titles with post-it notes just to let your intuition guide your choices a little bit more today. So without further ado, let us explain each pile. So for pile number 1 over here on the left, your object today is the light bulb, as well as this card right here. We have almost an angelic looking figure with a kind of orange red shawl and a blue suit underneath. So you are the light bulb with the angelic figure. Okay, beautiful. For pile number 2 today, over here in the middle, your object today is this stone piece, as well as this card with the lady in the hot spring. So showing them together. Okay, so pile 2, stone with hot spring lady. And last but not least, for pile number 3 over here on the right, you have the United States silver dollar with the moon landing on it, as well as the card of the woman before the gateway, and I'll just show those in the middle here. So pile 3, moon landing silver dollar, woman with the gateway in front of her for your pile. Okay. If you are new to Pick a Card readings, I do have a method I suggest you use, and/or if you are having a very stressful day and you just want to take a few moments out for yourself for some bliss, please follow my voice right now. So close your eyes, taking a deep, cleansing breath, and imagine light filling your lungs as you do so, then hold it for just a few moments. Then as you breathe back out again, open your eyes, and where are they drawn most first out of these 3 piles and their objects? And I always say you'll kind of feel like, that one feels right to me down in your gut, or your intuition as we like to say, and that is the pile I recommend you choose for your September predictions. But whatever your method, you can drop down to the description box below or the top and comment beneath the reading. Find the timestamp for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about how your September 2025 is going to go. See you in the reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome to your September 2025 predictions and messages reading. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn for your pile both to the object of the light bulb and the image of the angelic figure. Now, because we're at your pile, I can finally unveil what her messages says. So peeling back the post-it note, your card today is number 20, enough. You were born enough. So what that tells me right off the bat, pile 1. Now, this might not encapsulate everything about your September 2025, right? But there is a major theme coming forward about not only self-esteem, is one phrase I'm hearing intuitively, but also a theme of making sure that you withhold your boundaries in September. Okay, because not only is she taking up space and she's like holding her arms open and she's, even her wings in the background being kind of an angelic figure, she's taking up so much space and saying, here I am, I deserve to have this space, no one walk all over me. But you can see in the background, she's also in front of a gateway, like she's protecting something. And I think, intuitively I hear it's like protecting yourself. So I don't know if right now in August you already have been kind of feeling maybe some people are wandering over your boundaries, or you're fearing that might pop up in the future because of things you already know right now that are going to crop up in September. Or some of you might even be looking at this and be like, I have no idea what this will stem from, right? Sometimes those things kind of come out of the blue too. But in general, I am hearing, at least that's like the first message about your month ahead, is needing to make sure to step into your confidence, needing to make sure that you remember to take up space, okay? Don't feel like you have to like crunch yourself into little hidey holes or not voice your opinions, or I'm trying to think of like other examples, pile number 1. Just be confident. If there's one thing you take away for September, it's that. You were born enough. Say your opinions. Take up space. be who you are unapologetically. That is what I'm hearing. And also, because you were drawn to the light bulb as your object to pick with today, of course, we think of light bulbs as symbolisms of having ideas, of intelligence, of something kind of shedding light on something too. So another theme might come up as well with maybe there's some sort of truth you're looking for, or something comes to light that you weren't expecting in September, or perhaps you've been coming across some sort of creative or like career, or I guess anywhere in your life. It could be any general area of your life, but a blockage of some sort. And that September might actually represent a time of ideas that help you get past those blockages too. Okay, so we have a theme about self-esteem and confidence, being enough and knowing that you're enough, taking up space, protecting your boundaries, and ideas and truth so far for September. Now, let's first look at your tarot spread. I'll put your light bulb up here. Now this one tends to want to roll around because it's spherical, so hopefully it stays there. I might have to kind of adjust it here and there. We'll do your tarot spread to begin, as well as your tea leaf cards. So actually, let's start with your tea leaves pile number 1. So Spirit, for pile number 1 today, could you come forth with some hints about predictions and or things for them to watch out for their September, for their highest, best good? Thank you, Spirit. I'm feeling drawn to this one right here. So we'll take that, and then we'll draw another one from the other half of the deck. You know, and two, blending both symbolisms here, pile number 1, the enough message as well as the light bulb. You might also specifically feel like you have to like defend your ideas a lot, or that you're being encouraged to defend your ideas a lot in September. Okay, there's the other one. We have the diamond. Ooh, you will be receiving or giving a precious gift. Well, that is a gorgeous first message. Just in general, you will be receiving or giving a precious gift. That could be literally the idea, okay, that we were talking about, maybe to get past an obstacle that has been plaguing you a little bit lately, or maybe one you're not even sure about yet, but it comes up in September, and then thankfully like an idea drops out of the sky, almost as if by magic, or well, the universe is designed, in my opinion, right? And helps you get past that obstacle. And then your second tea leaf is, ooh, speaking of ideas that help you get past obstacles, we have key, successful outcome to your problems. Okay, so right off the bat, pile 1, I'm really happy to report that September 2025 so far looks very successful to you. Or for you, I should say. Basically, I'm seeing not only a lot of blessings in terms of gifts, I think, especially in the realm of the mind, in terms of, like, say, the ideas thing we were talking about, but also doorways open to you because of this key symbolism, okay? And successful outcome to your problems, like the idea that helps you get past the obstacle that we already discussed. But in general, too, I see, especially if you have had a lot of like slowness recently, like maybe August has been kind of sluggish in terms of your goals, like things just really aren't moving forward. It's kind of like you're walking through mud rather than water. It's like, you know, kind of a molasses month for you, I guess is how I would put that. It's very possible here with these cards coming out that September is going to be like, you go from molasses to complete just like quicksilver. It's like all the way to Mercury, and just everything is so fast, and there's a lot of progress made on certain goals that maybe have felt that they were slugging behind before. Okay, interesting. Let's look at your tarot reading as well. We'll draw those cards. Would not be shocked if you get like the 8 of Wands, for example, or the Ace of Pentacles. I also feel would be very fitting, but of course we'll let Spirit speak. So Spirit, what would you say to pile 1 about the timeline of September for them? Okay, feeling drawn to this particular part of the deck. Right there, okay. Well, I am happy as the tarot reader to be able to say that to you, pile 1. It is always good on my end if I can say, hey, a great month is coming forward. So let's peek closer. We have the 10 of Pentacles reversed, or stones reversed. Interesting. Okay, so this might be a little bit of a hint towards the energy of August bleeding into September, especially like at the time this video goes up. It's going to be, I think, August 28th, if you watch it around that time. This might be like the sluggishness I was talking about. It's like a feeling of, I mean, typically the 10 of Pentacles reversed would be, you know, something is passed down or brought from an older generation or an older time that isn't necessarily helpful. Or it could also mean like literally inheritance sometimes, because it is a Pentacles card, pile number 1. But at the same time, for you, I think this is kind of maybe a bit of the, I wonder if some of the problems, for those of you that already kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to like problems that are being solved, or like what's been slowing you down with your goals in different areas of your life, I think it's possible that they were passed on to you from somebody else in like a quote unquote inheritance of some sorts. Like maybe like a manager left your job and then you got kind of like dealt all of their stuff to deal with. Like that's kind of like a bad inheritance, at least in terms of like if it's overstressing you, okay, or it's been like an obstacle in your way, right? It could also mean in terms of like some problems from August or kind of inherited quote unquote over into September, at least at the very beginning. So we see like the very beginning of the month of September here. Maybe still dealing with some of those problems, but that makes total sense. And the good news is like I said, these tea leaf cards are beautiful in terms of getting past, say, like a 10 of Pentacles reverse situation. So let's look at maybe like the first and the second week of September. Another Pentacle, so a lot of like career, material, home, finance focus already because of so many Pentacles cards. And the 4 of Pentacles pile number 1 is all about reserving our resources. So we have literally a park in a cityscape, which is a perfect example of reserving our resources, right? Making sure that, even in a cityscape, you can have little plots of nature reserved. And I think too, for those of you that maybe have been dealing with some of the obstacle has been like bleeding money or like losing money on things, like maybe a lot of repairs had come up in August and you're like, God, man, I wish I could just like stop bleeding money. Like this is a really good sign because the 4 of Pentacles would be like holding on to your money. Like, oh, I can finally kind of keep something for myself. Okay. Or 2, like, even if it's not money, it could also be the resource of time, pile 1, where maybe you've had to give a lot of other like time to other people or other people's problems in August. And then like leading into September here, especially first to second week, I would say, this means you can finally kind of have time and like resources for yourself. Okay, so that might be part of what helps you in terms of getting over the obstacles, is then finally you have time to focus on like your own problems, like your own circus, your own monkeys, not other people's monkeys and their circuses, right? And that might also be part of what the gift is. You're given an opportunity around that time of September to reserve your resources a bit more, or like to have more time to be able to do something, okay? And then we have the middle card, middle of the month, also the heart of the matter. It's kind of like an overall theme. And look at that, we have the 8 of Wands. Like I said, I was like, I would not be shocked if you got the 8 of Wands pile number 1. However, this time we have the 8 of Wands reversed, which can mean a theme of slowing down because it's reversed. Now, I did say earlier, like, I'm pretty sure that things are going to open up, and I still see that here despite this being reversed because, we have so many cards about getting forward, moving through doorways, gifts, and whatnot. And even when you look at the 8 of Wands here, it's a beaver dam. Just as like I was saying, it's like finally things are flowing again, because the beaver dam is cleared, okay? But you still, I think overall with the month of September, there's going to just be an overall feeling of, it's not going to be an immediate September 1st, boom, the dam gets out of the way and then the water flows again. It's more of an overall theme of working on things that have been slowed down because of that 8 of Wands reversed having come out as what I call the heart of the matter card, or it's like kind of an overall theme for September card, okay? Interesting. Like things finally speeding up that have been slow before. And 2, of course, when you look at like 8 of Wands, we think of August being the 8th month, right? So it's like kind of the opposite of August because it's 8 reversed now that we're into September, the 9th month, right? Okay. We'll revisit that in a second. We'll see what else comes out. All right, towards the 3rd to 4th week or so, we have the King of Pentacles reversed. Now, this might be related to some of the theme that we had with your pile leader card, pile 1, where we talked about needing to defend your own boundaries, needing to stand up for yourself maybe a little bit more, your ideas especially, because I do see potentially a little bit of a problem around 3rd to 4th week with someone who is an authority figure at your place of employment, if you're currently employed, or someone related to that, like if you're searching for like employment, for example. Because the King of Pentacles reversed, number 1 is a Pentacles again, so it's like related to career, finances, materials, or security, whatnot. Is a figure of authority within that area, and reversed, it's kind of in a negative way, like they're kind of like an obstacle, they're kind of a blockage, right? I think maybe that might even be for some of you who is causing this. And a King of Pentacles is going to be a masculine energy, typically. It doesn't always mean they're a man, but someone with high masculine energy. Could be literally the boss. Maybe they're still there, but, you know, for those of you that I was like, well, maybe you got passed down some boss responsibilities because, like, they left. Maybe they're still kind of lingering, or there's still, like, lingering problems from that person who left the job, for an example. Or two, in general, it's kind of like you might not necessarily quite at that point have gotten past all the obstacles that we were talking about with the Eight of Wands energy of, like, the slowdown from August. And, but what that means, pile number one, is not necessarily like, oh, you're going to have a bunch of bad stuff happen at this point. You know, we don't have like a tower moment or anything. But it's like this third week into September or so might be when it's really nose to the grindstone about getting away from those problems. Okay. You just see that little reprieve with the Four of Pentacles earlier with, you know, I can reserve my resources a little bit more. I can save a little bit more for myself, more time for myself. But you're still kind of working on it over time, which is natural, pile number one. I mean, most of the time when we have issues at work or whatever area of your life, they don't immediately get solved. It's kind of a slow, steady process. And that's what I'm seeing for September. It's a really good theme, actually, to keep in mind for your September pile one is the phrase slow, steady process. Slow and steady wins the race, okay? And two, with all the pentacles I'm seeing so far, I do see kind of a career or material security or home finances kind of focused months. Maybe that's already been kind of true for you in August too, in which case that's going to continue throughout September. And then let's look at your final card. We have the Devil upright. Okay, so another kind of neutral card. It really depends on the context of the cards around it. I do see by the end of September, so this is probably like the fourth week kind of leading into October, pile number one, there is sort of a feeling of being held back still. It's, once again, that process of things just working themselves out and breaking up so that the process and your goals can come along faster. Because the Devil tends to represent, sometimes I call it the prison card. It's kind of like the jail cell card. It's almost like something that holds you back, or it's something that can hold you down. That's another energy, is like back and down with the Devil card, okay? Or sometimes it can be things that tempt us that aren't always good for us. It can also be things that are something that we would kind of consider a chain of some sort. So because that came out at the end, like I said, I'll just reiterate, I won't repeat too much. This is like a slow process month. I don't see necessarily that everything will be solved by the end of it, okay, but I do see progress here. Especially because the Heart of the Matter card was that Eight of Wands reversed, pile one. It's like that slow, long going, kind of got to work out. I mean, it's not, it's almost something that you would put together. For some reason, I'm seeing it's like you putting together a ship in a bottle. It's just like one little piece at a time. There's progress, but at the time of September, you might not feel like you're making as much progress as you expect. Like, it's like on the surface, down on the ground level, in the trenches, so to speak, you're like, oh man, I feel like I'm going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. But actually, you really are breaking through a lot of things. And I do see that because, you know, we did have your key, successful outcome to your problems. And then same thing with Diamond. You'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. Okay. And the thing with Diamonds, pile number one, is, well, how do they form? Well, they form because it is, I believe, carbon. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think they're carbon, right? Carbon pushed and forced under really heavy heat and pressure. You can't have diamonds without a little bit of friction and pressure. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here intuitively, is the message I'm hearing from your spirit guides for the month of September is, yes, this might feel kind of like a bit of a pressure month. I'm not going to lie, as a tarot reader, I'll be honest. There's a bit of a pressure month on you, but you'll weather through just fine. I'll guarantee you that, pile number one. And on top of that, it's like it makes a diamond at the end, okay? Just remember that theme of enough. You were born enough. Stand up for yourself. Don't let people walk all over your boundaries, all right? And, you know, that could also be a side message with the King of Pentacles reversed. I apologize. I didn't mention that at the time that it came out. Now, remember, let's go back from the end of the month and reverse a bit into time about third to fourth week into the month, right? The King of Pentacles reversed can also, if it's not a person, represent a piece of advice from Spirit regarding needing to stand into your confidence more when it comes to career, finances, and security. Okay. Sometimes if your King of Pentacles reversed energy is out of alignment, I guess is how I would phrase that. It can mean pile number 1 that you're not standing as tall as you should be when it comes to your career, your finances, etc., those areas of life, okay? It can represent maybe feeling like, oh, I don't feel secure enough to speak up about my ideas at work, or say you have a business idea that you've really wanted to pull the trigger on for a while, but a King of Pentacles reversed energy would be like, oh, well, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm good enough. It's kind of those things because, or like those themes, because Pentacles is so intricately linked to the energy of security. It's like literally, I mean, you look at the card. It's like the earth underneath your feet, okay? You have a lot more earth underneath your feet or grounding to stand on than you think you do. So just please, if there's anything you take away from this pile 1, be more confident in the month of September, and that will help you through some of these things that we did see in terms of challenges, okay? Same thing, too, with the devil. The devil can mean that you're maybe holding yourself back a little bit too much. It doesn't necessarily mean like a really bad, oh, this person's going to come in your life and tamp you down, right? Which maybe that is kind of the case with the King of Pentacles if that represents a person to you, like, say, a bad boss, just as one example. It might not resonate with all of you, but we'll just go with the bad boss example to explain, okay? It's like, yeah, it can hold you back, and you need to like break through more. You need to stand up for yourself more, okay? You have more to stand on than you think you do. So believe in that, pile number 1. All right. Don't let other people hold you back. Beautiful. And then we do have 2 final oracle cards to glance at for your month of September. They could be either advice or maybe a little bit more context for some of the other things that we saw. I also might pull just 1 more tarot card on the diamond. Actually, let me do that right now, pile number 1. I'm going a little bit off my script here in terms of like order, but because I want to get more context for you about what the diamond is all about. What's the gift, so to speak, okay? So Spirit for pile number 1 today, for their highest best good in mind. Can you tell me more about the gift that the diamond indicated? Just to give them a little bit of a hint as to what that is. Thank you. What's the gift of the diamond? Oh boy. That's a lot of cards that just flew out. Okay, well, unfortunately, I can't lay them all on the desk right here, but I will hold them in my hands for you, pile number 1, and then I'll kind of put them to the side. Okay, so everything of these that fell out, oh, look at all these reversals except for the 7 of Cups. Okay, okay, we have a Knight of Pentacles reversed, 2 of Cups reversed, Page of Cups. Oh, look at all these cups, all that water, pile 1. Page of Cups reversed, 7 of Cups, and the 3 of Pentacles reversed. Oh, okay. So there's a gift. So pile 1. Short and sweet with 5 different cards. The gift coming along is something to do where right now you're feeling like there's a lack of teamwork at a certain, like it could be, I think for most of you it's going to be a job, but in general, wherever you're feeling like there's a lack of cohesive teamwork in your life, this is where the gift is coming from, especially a lack of teamwork that has been impeding progress, either in the way of like making things go really slow, like that 8 of Wands energy we were talking about, like, oh, things are kind of slugging along, it feels like molasses, right? Or in terms of people just rushing too fast, because the Knight of Pentacles reversed can represent people just being a little bit too hasty, because upright, the Knight of Pentacles would be like, oh, slow and steady wins the race, as we said before was the phrase for your month of September. And then too, with the 2 of Cups reversed, that kind of indicates like disharmony in relationships with others. So it's something to do with a gift that fixes these problems of teamwork with relationships to others. Okay, so there's like other people involved. And I think the reason why is because the 7 of Cups almost makes me think, especially too with the Page of Pentacles, or I'm sorry, not Page of Pentacles, Page of Cups reversed here, is like there's either somebody or a lot of people involved that are holding everybody back because they can't 100% like admit or what's the word? I'm trying to think of a really good word for it. They can't finalize. That's the word I want to use. They can't finalize what they want, pile number 1. Like, they kind of keep options open, and they're kind of like, well, I don't know, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. Because, like, you look at the 7 of Cups here, you know, it's the different options at the beach. You could play Frisbee. You could go parasailing. You could build a sandcastle. You could go swimming or surfing or walk your dog, etc. And that's, you know, the beauty of the Seven of Cups is, yes, you have different options, but the problem is sometimes with the Seven of Cups, you have so many options, you get analysis paralysis and you get stuck. Okay, so that's the energy I was talking about. So that is where the gift is coming from. That energy will go whoosh out of the way. So people will either finalize things and that helps this progress go forward, or it's very possible that maybe some of those people are kind of removed from the equation, at least in terms of, if not literally, but like maybe like their power over the situation, so that you can just be like, okay, now we can get along, everything's finalized, let's go. Okay, things like that. So that's what I wanted to say with this. We'll keep these up here. All right, because can't put them all on the screen, but all right, Spirit. Now, the Oracle cards. We have the Dream Ritual Oracle. Let's see. Okay, anything else about September for pile 1? Thank you. Right there. Okay, I'm feeling this one. We have Immerse. We have a book opening up with different imagery. Immerse yourself in something. Yeah, it's like you're finally able, I think I'm hearing intuitively this is connected to that energy about the second week or so with the Four of Pentacles, being able to reserve your energy. I don't know if maybe you haven't been able to really immerse yourself in things lately. Like maybe you haven't been able to do, you've been so busy you haven't been able to like read or do something like imaginative as much lately in August. Or it's like when it comes to work, you haven't been able to immerse yourself in the details as much because people are getting so caught up in the energy of like bigger picture rather than details. This Immerse card is like saying September will allow you to dive deeper into those details, into more immersion rather than feeling like everything has to be big picture or it's like everything is not quite solidified yet. Okay, so there's a lot of more nitty-gritty details. It's like I was saying before with the picture of the ship in the bottle that came through intuitively. It's like you're finally able to kind of meticulously put things together more rather than it feel like it's going from blueprint era into actual let's get started era is what I'm kind of saying. Okay. All right, there we'll have that one. Definitely this one. Okay. What do you want to say, Spirit? We have knowledge. Ignorant versus knowing. Interesting. With hands over her eyes. Ignorant versus knowing. I wonder if that's the light bulb moment, pile number 1. Because remember we said it might be an idea that comes forward. And it's interesting because the angel figure in your pile leader, she has her hands by her ears like she's hearing. But now we have a figure with hands over her eyes like she can't see. Pile 1. There's something about September where there's going to be a situation where the way something looks is a lot different than the way it sounds. I know that sounds weird, but it's basically a situation I'm feeling intuitively where you might see something and it looks a lot different than the way that it sounds. Okay, so if I had to give like one piece of advice out of that intuitive message is believe what you hear, not what you see. Okay, that is very specific coming through with that card. Okay, believe what you hear, not what it looks like or what you see with your eyes. Okay, listen, not look. Okay, and then knowledge too. It's like you find some sort of knowledge that helps you. I think it might be part of what helps solidify these things, that gets that progress going forward. Or two, it might also be something that like gets you confidence in yourself to help you with that kind of, enough energy with your pile leader as well as that King of Pentacles reversed energy. Okay. I'm going to draw just one more tarot card on the knowledge just to see maybe what it is specifically, or, at least a bit of a hint, right, pile 1? All right, Spirit, what's the knowledge that they gain? What's the little hint you have for me for them? All right there. Okay, 4th one. We have the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, it's knowledge about, once again, we have Pentacles, so career, security, material focused. That's just your theme for September, okay? Very earth-driven month, right? Especially for my Virgos out there. Okay, so 8 of Pentacles is being hard at work. Something about working hard. that's what it is, pile number 1. Spirit, final message from Spirit today is there's something in September that you're going to realize was working harder or going farther than you expected. It's like something was growing when you weren't looking, almost like the garden that they're showing in this particular card or this depiction of the Eight of Pentacles. And it's like you get knowledge of that and you're like, oh, that was there all along. That did a lot better than I expected it would. It's like something that kind of took root and did something itself. And then you turn around and it's farther along and it's been harder at work than you expected. It's like something's going to pay off that you didn't think would, or it paid off in a way that it worked harder or better than you thought it would. Okay, and that's part of, I think the key too, that was that message too, about like breaking through obstacles, breaking through a door, is the knowledge of that. And that also will help you through the struggles of this month that we did highlight earlier. Okay. So beautiful reading, pile number 1. I know we did talk about there's a little bit of struggle here and there. That's normal, right? Life isn't always sunshine and roses, but I do see a lot of progress in this month, and despite maybe some of the struggles, there's a lot of benefit that comes out of it. And there's also a lot of highlights as well, right? Breaking through obstacles, being able to focus on the nitty-gritty more knowledge that helps you, things working out better than you expected, and whatnot, things along those lines, okay? So that's your reading for September today, my wonderful pile 1. If you liked it, if it resonated, if it helped you, of course, most of all, that's what I care about. Please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and as is our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about your September ahead, and as you recall, you were drawn to both the beautiful stone object, kind of almost looks like the tip of an arrow or some sort of pointer, right? Very cool. And the card of the lady in the hot spring. Now that we're on your pile, I can reveal what the card says. And your card today, pile 2, is 42, home. May your body be where a harmonious balance of love, strength, light, and pleasure lives. So what I'm hearing for you, at least right off the bat, pile 2, is September is going to be a month of maybe a bit more rest than usual, or it could also be a month where even if you don't necessarily get to a restful point, if things have especially been like hectic and chaotic lately in like August leading into September, it's going to be a month of a lot of progress towards greater calm and greater like things being peaceful, I guess is how I would put that. Some of you, I hear maybe even going on a vacation soon, hopefully somewhere with a hot spring. That sounds really nice, especially as, at least here in the northern hemisphere, things cool down. Things are getting a bit more chilly. We're going into fall. So, of course, a hot spring sounds amazing, right? At least to me it does. Or a spa day, maybe. I don't know. Whatever your preference is. Maybe it's even just a nice day with some hot cocoa or tea and a blanket by a fire. Whatever your comfort is, I do see more comfort coming for you in the month of September. You might already know that. You might be like, oh yes, things are going to slow down in September for me. Or maybe that's a bit of a surprise, but of course a pleasant one, right? Okay. And 2, because you were drawn to the object of the stone point, or I guess I don't really know what to call it. I'm going to call it the stone point. I feel like there's something that you've recently been wanting direction in that you felt kind of lost on. I don't know exactly what that is for each and every one of you. Your other cards might give us some more distinct detail, but I can hear from Spirit, your spirit guide specifically, saying, pile 2, you're going to get direction in this month. You're going to be given, or at least find, a certain pathway to take through a bit of the foggy, murky forest that you've been walking through, metaphorically speaking, okay? Almost kind of like the steam or like the fog coming off the card here in the hot spring with the woman sitting in it. It's like things kind of clear and then things are like, breath of relief. Now I know where to go, okay? So, beautiful message so far. Let's look at your other cards. We're going to begin today, pile number 2, with your tarot spread as well as your tea leaf cards. We'll put your arrow up here, little stone point. Very beautiful. Okay, so tea leaves first. I mean, at least I'm hoping you get greater relaxation, pile number 2, because, I mean, no matter what area of life you're in, greater relaxation is great. Okay, we have the heart. That was the first card that popped out from your tea leaves. love, deep affection, and caring. Oh, that was another message I forgot to mention about your pile leader, pile 2. Self-care might also be a really big theme coming up here in September for you, which you might already know, especially if you are going on vacation, which you probably already know. If you are going on vacation, you already know you're going to go on vacation, planning it ahead of time, right? But the heart having come out too reminded me of that. It was like, September is a time of a little bit more self-care. But of course, love, deep affection, and caring can also mean love from others and affection from others. So I do see that maybe boding well for those of you who are in a relationship currently. Romantically, at least, like, things are going to be okay this month with the relationship. It's going to be like a very tender month with your partner. It could also mean, though, for those of you who are single, maybe there's a little bit of a romance coming in, okay? That, too, because on this channel, we value platonic love just as much as romantic love, right? It could also mean that it's a very heartfelt month with your friends and your family as well. Like, things kind of being harmonious, things being happy, maybe even having more heart-to-hearts, deeper connections with people, especially maybe people you met in August, or if not August, at least recently. It's kind of like, oh, maybe you get to that next level with somebody, either romantically or platonically, right? So, beautiful. Things are shaping up really well so far. Let's look at your other tea leaf pile, too. We have a heart, we have self-care, maybe a vacation for some of you. Okay, that one says pick me. We have the scissors. Okay, so we have our first little obstacle. Don't run away from the reading yet. We'll see what your tarot cards say. We do have scissors, though, and it says disappointment in some affair. Okay, so there might be a tiny little setback here in September. Lots of good things so far, but as in all things in life, there might be just one little bump. Okay, we'll see what your tarot spread says. I think most of the time I'm able to hear intuitively kind of what that relates to. And 2, I'll draw like another extra tarot card on that just to see. So let's do that right now. Get your tarot spread plus the extra card for scissors. We'll ask what the disappointment is. Spirit, please come forward. Tell me for their highest, best good, the timeline for their month of September this year. Thank you. Pile 2. Okay. There we go. There is card number 1. I'm actually feeling that this is related to scissors, so I'm going to take that. And then I'll split the deck for your main timeline cards. I'm hearing something intuitively, pile 2, that something you feel, or somebody that you feel is on one side of an issue is actually on the other side of an issue, but you don't know it yet. That's a very specific message that just came out. Someone that you feel is on a certain side of an issue is actually on a different side of an issue than you expect. I think that might be a little bit where the disappointment is coming from, I'm hearing. So, we'll see what the card says, but... And it's not... I don't feel like it's a major thing, though. It doesn't feel big. It feels like, like kind of a tiny, like, oh, well, that kind of stinks, right? But it doesn't feel like a major problem is what I'm hearing. Okay. Let's first look at the disappointment card here with the scissors. You have the Magician reversed. Okay. So what this means, pile number 2, is that the disappointment is related to you trying to manifest something. That's what the Magician is all about. We have typically the traditional depiction of the Magician. He's got the Pentacles, Cups, Wands, and the Swords next to him in his it's like a table he kind of stands over. And he usually has one arm up and one arm down, just like this lady does in this particular version of the card. And what that means is as above, so below, I will it, and so it becomes. However, reversals mean there might be an obstacle with this in this particular month. So there's something that you're trying to manifest that I think, being an honest tarot reader, I'm going to be honest, you might have a slight disappointment a little bit in September with that. Okay. But like I said, hear me out, pile 1. Or I'm calling you pile 1 because it's Magician is number 1. Duh. Sorry, pile number 2. As I said, I don't feel like it's a major disappointment, though. I think it's just a tiny setback is what I'm hearing from Spirit. Okay. So, yeah, let's look at your timeline here. So the first card that pops out, so this is about maybe the first week in September leading in from August. We have the 3 of Swords. Okay. So we do have the card of pain. And I know a lot of you are like, oh, God, I'm going to run away from the tarot reading. Hear me out once again. I think this is related to the slight disappointment. I don't, once again, feel like this is a major problem because you do have a lot of positive cards here, too. You have the love, affection, deep caring. So it's not like it's a major betrayal or anything. It's not like it's a major, you're going to lose all your money and get a terminal disease and life's gonna suck immediately. Like, just, it's not that, obviously. Like, that's kind of dramatic, right? But, you know, what I'm saying, pile number 2, is it's like, right away in the first week is when that disappointment might pop up. Okay, a little bit of a pain. Ooh, ouch, you know. Speaking of 2, with the scissors having come out, and then that's like the 3 of Swords, like blades, right? A little bit of a sharp prickle there, but let's look into like the first week into the second week. Oh, okay, and then we have another 3. Lots of 3s in this particular reading, okay? The 3 of Pentacles. Now, we have a positive card came out. This, like I said, first and second week of September or so. We have a card about teamwork, getting along, doing things together. Everyone is in sync. So that does reflect what I said before about, I think, like, your relationships are going to prosper really well in the month of September, especially when it comes to areas where you need to work on things together. Okay. So even though there's a bit of a setback with maybe like personal achievement with September, at least in the beginning, we'll see what your other cards say. That was just like the first card or so, and then the disappointment with the scissors. But there is a lot of harmony and success and progress with relationships and teamwork with other people. Okay, so might be a tiny setback on a personal goal, but you're going like light speed with when it comes to love and relationships and, you know, projects that you're working on with other people. Okay. Especially in the second week or so of September, leading in from the first, okay? Now let's look at the middle of the month, or the heart of the matter as well. We have more swords. Look at all these swords, pile number 2. The Page of Swords reversed, okay? So this represents maybe a time when, well, overall is a theme, pile number 2. This is like a theme of the month, being the middle card. Being kind of confused about something, not quite sure where we want to go. I think that's where the pathfinding message comes through with the arrow point here that we were talking about, or the stone point. It's like you were looking for some sort of direction, some sort of guide, like, where do I go? And like the metaphor I used was something about like you walking through a foggy forest, and then finally the fog dissipates, and then you have the pathway open to you. Like, oh, that's where I need to go. Okay. That is definitely, because of this card coming out as the middle card, heart of the matter, I call it, a major theme of September for you. Okay, a major theme is figuring out where the heck do I need to go. Okay, and a lot about swords and blades too. And swords in tarot, pile number 2, tend to represent the mind. They represent ideas. They represent everything related to air. It could also represent, sometimes they are like the suit of challenges as well. So breaking through a lot of challenges in this month, not in a way of like, you know, it's going to like suck. Like I was saying before, it's not like, you know, you're going to lose all your money, you're going to be alone, terminal disease, nothing like that, right? But I do see a few challenges here. Okay. Being an honest tarot reader. But the good news is, I think you going through these challenges, especially when you lean on the power of other people and your relationships that are so positive in this month, pile number 2, that's going to help you find the way. Okay. And 2, I'm hearing, and this just popped through, I was looking at your pile leader card with home again. I almost wonder if the way that you're trying to find is home. And when I say home, pile number 2, I almost feel like it's the sense of home in terms of returning back to what you had again, okay? And I'll just read the tagline for your pile leader again. It says, may your body be where a harmonious balance of love, strength, light, and pleasure lives. I almost wonder if in the month of August, hence like the 3 of Swords at the very beginning of September, has August been a really painful month for you, pile 2? And if so, my condolences. That is not fun whatsoever. But if that is the truth, pile 2, August has not been great for you, I think that's part of really what you're working through here in September, is returning back to a sense of normalcy, of home and happiness and, you know, strength, light, pleasure, etc., like that card says, okay? But September is you figuring it out, and as we all know in life, things are never, most of the time, never solved like snap your fingers immediately. Okay, sometimes it takes, you know, even a month or so to kind of get through things, okay? And I'm saying that here for September for you, but as long as you lean on other people and your strong relationships with other people, okay, and focus on the theme of love and connection and teamwork, that will help you get through these challenges, okay? Now, 4th card, third week, not the third month, kind of leading into the 4th week, we have the Chariot reversed, okay? That tends to mean maybe a bit of an extension of the confusion that we're dealing with in the middle of September into like the 3rd week or so. You might still be struggling with trying to figure out where to go. when it comes to middle of the month into the third week here, because the Chariot reversed pile 2 often represents a time where we feel like, oh, the reins are kind of out of our hands, things are kind of chaotic, where the heck do I go? And literally, even when you look at the Chariot, well, what does a Chariot do? It follows a path, right? Just like these sled dogs are following a sort of a path through the Arctic snow, okay? Trying to find their wayfinding, okay? So you're still wayfinding by the third or fourth week or so, okay? But, reverseless pile 2 can also come up as things that are worked on at that time that do improve, okay? So lots of thinking hard in these weeks of September. And then last but not least, we have the Hierophant. We have redwood trees, perfect representation of what the Hierophant represents. And this is like your fourth week into a little bit into October perhaps. And the Hierophant represents tradition, things that have stood for a long time. Speaking of home, returning back to home, I'll tell you this right now, pile number 2. Wherever you're feeling really confused right now, where there's been a little bit of pain points, especially stemming from the month of August, things that have kind of carried over into September, and especially where you feel like you've lost direction. And for those of you that didn't run away the moment I said there might be some struggles in the month of September from the middle into the third week, thank you for sticking with me and listening to me as a tarot reader, right? And appreciating my honesty. By the end of September here in the fourth week, you'll find that resolving of those problems. Okay. Might not be an immediate resolve, okay? But at least it's a return to what was, because that's what the Hierophant represents, pile number 2. It represents a return to tradition, the way things have been, just like the sequoia or the redwood tree. Very, very tall trees, very, very ancient trees, okay? Or at least relatively old, hundreds of years, right? Some of them. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be sequoias. I don't know if redwoods are like this. I think they're similar trees, unfortunately. And any Americans on the west coast of the U.S., feel free to correct me if you live near redwoods and sequoias and you know them more intimately than I do, right? But I think it's at least sequoias. They only spread seeds with fire. I think it's fire allows I think they have pine cones, right? They're technically like an evergreen. It's like that's what opens their seeds. And so when I'm saying that, pile 2, it's like a lot of these struggles you have, at least just kind of maybe a little bit stemming from August and then like the middle into the third week of the month of September. Those are exactly what the universe needed to alchemize solutions, or the seeds, okay? Giving you a waypoint, something new to follow, right? Like a seed you plant, like, oh, I'll try this thing, I'll plant this here, let's see where this goes. It's like it needed that in order to give you that new path. So it's odd, because even though I say there might be some struggles and there might be a slight disappointment with manifesting something, it's like you having that struggle or that disappointment pushes you through a lot of work energetically towards the path that you're trying to find. And I'm even thinking about this right here, pile number 2. A lot of these cards have paths on them. Okay, even the Magician here, like she's stepping over the stones in the water. There's a path here in the Three of Blades with the people that are skiing, right? There's a path even that people are working on with the Three of Stones. They're clearing out a path, so to speak, together, okay? And obviously extracting crystals as they do so, quartz looks like. A path with the Chariot, and a path, especially here with the Hierophant. It's like it finally opens up, and you can see her jubilance, her excitement. She's like, look at this path towards the sky. The sky is the limit with how far I can go. Just like the redwood trees growing to the sky. Very, very tall trees, right? Very big, especially with their trunk circumference, right? Sometimes things that are that big, pile number 2, take a while and go through a lot of struggle before they can blossom, but they're all the more beautiful, and we all the more respect them for everything that they've been through to survive as long as they've had. Okay, so it's a bit of a triumph after struggle and survival month for you, I'm hearing, as like an overall theme too. Okay, now let's look at your last 2 oracle cards. We have the Dream Ritual Oracle, as well as the Soul Mirror Oracle, Spirit for their highest best good. Anything else you want to say or advice you want to give for September for pile number 2? Thank you. Right there, okay. Receive. Look at that, pile number 2. Okay, so as much as there might be some struggles trying to figure out our path and our way in September, you will be receiving a lot as well. I think that is part of the message regarding other people. Three of Pentacles with the teamwork message, as well as the heart about love, deep affection, and caring. That is a piece of advice, pile, too. You know, I don't know if you tend to be super stubborn, independent people, which, hello, same here. I struggle with the same things, right? Stubborn, independent people, and I say that in a positive connotation. It's a good thing, right? However, sometimes when we're very stubborn, independent people, as much as that might serve us when we need to go it alone, and as much as that might serve us in terms of being ambitious and striving for things, sometimes that makes it difficult for you to receive help from others. Okay? What this card is, pile 2, is a piece of advice in September to not hesitate when offers of help or gifts are given to you. As much as your stubborn, independent side might be like, I really don't want to rely on anyone else. I can do it myself. I'll be just fine. Toss the stubborn independence out for a moment and accept and receive. That is a piece of advice to you. I think, actually, I'm hearing pile number 2. That's part of why you have these struggles in this month, is because the universe wants you to learn a lesson regarding leaning on other people more and less on yourself. Okay? Because it is interesting, because even in the Three of Swords here, it's a really odd depiction of this particular card, because typically it means pain, right? However, what I do like about this depiction of this card with regards to your reading is that it almost feels like these two people up here are having a grand old time, and it's like there's one person kind of stuck back here. It's like other people working well together, and then like you kind of stuck behind because you are being independent, which is a valuable quality, but sometimes we can get a lot farther if we do rely on and work with others, okay? So especially in the first to second week, when you lean into that with that Three of Pentacles, teamwork energy, and receive, that will remove that pain of the Three of Swords that you were feeling earlier, especially in August, leading into like the first week of September, okay? And lean into that even more and more and more in the middle to the third week, okay? And that will bring you home. That will bring you the return to what it is you're seeking and the path you're trying to find, okay? And that will also help you turn this Magician right around, pile number 2. You can't manifest this through yourself. You have to rely on others and teamwork to manifest it together. That's what receive means, okay? Now let's look at your last oracle card, the Soul Mirror Oracle. Anything else you want to say to pile 2 today, Spirit? Thank you. Beautiful cards. About their September month here. Right there. That one, okay. We have peace, chaotic versus calm. And what a beautiful card to get as your final card for your reading, pile 2. This also is a reassurance that we will find more peace in the month of September. Remember that I said at the very beginning, I was like that lady in the hot spring, going on vacation. She's having a grand old time. She found more peace. She found more relaxation, especially with self-care and relying more on other people instead of ourselves. We can also find peace in that manner, pile number 2. Okay, so ask yourself as you go through the month of September, how can I invite more peace into my life? Okay, how can I stem away chaos? This is funny too. I'm going to point this out because I'm a tarot nerd and I like to point out things. Okay, the Chariot also is a card of peace when it's upright. Not often a keyword that we use with the Chariot, but it is, because when it's reversed, it can mean chaos, because it's like, oh, things are kind of it's like, oh, the reins are out of our control, the dogs are going everywhere, right? If you invite more peace into your life where you can, that will also help you overcome this Chariot reversed energy into the 3rd, 4th week. Okay? And 2, just another nerdy thing I want to mention, because I notice these things. A dog sled can't move all on its own. Okay, if the guy just sat there on the sled and had no dogs, where would he go? And nowhere, right? The dog sledding requires multiple people, or dogs too, I should say. Thank God for dogs. They're so sweet and so lovely. Man's best friend, right? Requires those people working, or dogs in tandem, to get somewhere. Okay. So if there's any really in-your-face, neon flashing sign message in the month of September in terms of advice for you, pile 2, it's throw away the independence. Focus more on how do I work well with others as a team. Okay? That will be your strength in this month, okay? And that will help you find the peace that you're looking for, the path that you're looking for, if you're willing to receive, and also the manifestation you might be looking for. At first, you're like, no, I can't do this all on my own. This manifestation got out of my hands. Where's the thing that I wanted? Okay, the thing I was trying to bring it forth, the goal I was trying to achieve, etc. is through the power of your energy connected with others. And that will bring you peace in what you're looking for. Okay? That will help you get over that hump. All right. So that is your message for the month of September, pile number 2. I hope, of course, most of all that you liked it and it resonated and, well, number 1, that it helped you. That's what my main goal is with these readings. And if so, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And as I always say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about September 2025 messages and predictions. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to both the object of the silver dollar moon landing coin, as well as the card of the woman before the gateway. Now that we're in your pile, I can reveal what your card says. So peeling back the post-it note. Boom, we have number 5, the unknown, knowing the unknown. So, pile number 3. This card I kind of see as part of your theme overall for September 2025. And what this card says about your theme is you facing a lot of, hence the title, unknowns, okay? I think for a lot of you, you already kind of have been facing this in the month of August leading into September. Maybe you've been dealing with a lot of uncertainties lately. You've been dealing with a lot of kind of being stuck on one side of a gateway and just not having enough knowledge to move on to the next side of the gateway, like almost like you looking for a key to open a door. Maybe you're trying to make progress with getting a promotion at work or getting another job that's like a step up past a gateway of some sort. It could also be maybe you literally trying to move somewhere or trying to make progress in some area of your life, insert your situation here. Okay. Either way, it's like you have been searching for answers within the unknown. And the unknown can be kind of scary, pile number 3, as we all know, because the unknown holds possibilities. There's beauty in possibilities, right? Because we see the potential for everything that can happen that's good. But we can also see in possibilities the scariness of things that can go wrong. So I almost wonder, too, because of that coming out intuitively, pile 3, where maybe you're kind of dealing with maybe some anxiety this month. It doesn't mean it's necessarily fueled by anything that should be giving you anxiety, at least in terms of like things to like worry about that actually do turn out bad, right? But anxiety in terms of like hemming and hawing. I don't know. This is this unknown. I don't know if I should step forward yet. And just feeling like you just don't have enough information for what you want to go forward with. Or like enough information for you to feel comfortable going forward with. I should rephrase that, right? And you probably also going on a journey in September of seeking knowledge to help you get through this unknown, kind of unveiling the fog, so to speak. And it's interesting because you were also drawn to the silver dollar here with the moon landing, okay? And what is a moon landing but literally projecting ourselves out into the unknown and going into new territory? Literally, one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind, just as Neil Armstrong said. So it's like you making, well, maybe some extra worries that you don't have to worry about in September when it comes to the unknown. But because you were drawn to the moon landing coin, you actually making that shot, not knowing if it's going to work out, and nailing the landing. Literally, okay? So I think whatever you're worried about right now, pile number 3, when it comes to the month of September, I think you're actually going to make a lot more progress than you think you are. Just like the moon landing, there were things that might have, I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't remember exactly what part of the lander went wrong, but I think it was something to do with it was Neil and Buzz used it was like a pen, literally. It was like a pen that they used to it was like a dial that broke or something. I don't know. Feel free to correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong. I think that's what it was. And two, even just the idea of landing on the moon is especially for the first time, is scary because you're oh man, what if we lose these people? What if, something with the electronics goes wrong, etc. Whatever can go wrong with a moon landing, right? Especially the first time it happened. But despite those unknowns, you pass that gateway and, slip from that feeling of, this is where I'm comfortable, into uncharted territory and landing. And it's that feeling of relief of, okay, I made it. Okay, there might be a moment where maybe you need to kind of grab a pen really quick and fix that in order to make sure that it works and it lands right. But I do see success in this month for you because you were drawn to that card. Or not card, the object, but I mean, you're drawn to this card too, but also maybe some of you are interested in astronomy. Maybe that's why you were drawn to this particular pile. If so, hello, my fellow friends in astronomy, in terms of hobby interest, right? Or maybe you're literally an astronomer, which also really cool. Tell me down in the comments below if you are. I love astronomy. All right, so to begin your reading today, pile number 3, we're going to go with your tea leaves and your tarot spread, just to get more glimpses overall into the month of September. So Spirit, for their highest, best good, thank you. Tell us all about September. Thanks. Excuse me. God, even the coloring in your pile leader card kind of makes me think of the moon, right? And there literally is a globe at the top here. Looks like the Earth. Just like the Earth is in the background of the moon and the coin. Okay, there we go. We got desk. Pay attention to your work. Okay, speaking of pens, we literally have feather pens here, quills. Okay. Pay attention close to your work, pile number 3. There's something you need to look a little bit closer at. And then we have the club. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. Now, don't run away from the reading yet. I'm going to draw one more tarot card on that just to get a bit more of an explanation. I actually might do 2 extra cards for you today, pile number 3, as well as your regular tarot spread. So actually, let's do that right now. I just want Spirit to give us more of a hint as to what to look out for those things in September here. So Spirit, can you give me a card each on the club and the desk for more context? Thank you. Okay, is that literally 2 cards? Or is that 3? It might be 3. 3. Okay, so I'm going to do this right now. Can you give me the card for club, Spirit? Okay, we'll take that one for club. And then I'm going to take this one for desk. And then we'll kind of have this card as both. All right. Extra thing to look out for. So in terms of the club, someone will try to make you do something against your will. You have the Page of Swords. Okay, so pile number 3. There might be a situation in September where, a Page of Swords can represent someone who is an air sign, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, etc. It can also represent someone that is kind of youthful, might be a little bit younger than you, or if you're in your maybe teens to 20s or so, into 30s, it could also be someone around your age, okay? That is part of who might make you try to do something against your will. I'm not hearing it's a majorly bad thing from Spirit. It's more just a feeling of the word I'm hearing is egotistical. You might already know who I'm talking about, pile number 3. You might just be sipping your tea or whatever you're drinking, nodding along oh yeah, I know who this is, right? I know who this chump is, right? Maybe you love them too. Maybe they're even close to you, but at the same time, sometimes maybe they can act like a chump, right? All right, so anyways, it's, it tends to be someone who's maybe very intellectual, being an air sign, or just the swords suit and tarot in general is the intellectual suit, ideas. Maybe someone that thinks they're very intelligent, but in this particular situation, they're just trying to override your own opinion, because they think that they're right, hence the chump word I was using. It's funny, too, because it's literally kids playing with snowballs, and there's one adult. It might be more than one person, pile number 3. Maybe you're the adult of the situation. Everyone else is just kind of an immature little kid when it comes to this. If there's any piece of advice I give you for that in September, I would just say, don't cave in. Okay, stand firm with your ideas. All right. It's more about them being right and getting an ego boost off of it than it is about what's the actual right thing to do. Okay, and then in terms of your desk, pay attention to your work. We have, another swords card. We have the King of Swords reversed. Okay, so this could represent a person as well, just like the page can, being a court card pile, number 3. The King of Swords, though, tends to represent someone that's a bit older, okay, or someone that's in a position of authority. Once again, because it's swords, can mean an air sign, typically Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, etc. But it can also represent someone that is, in general, like, it kind of makes me feel like the Page of Swords, but maybe they're even related to the King of Swords. Maybe this is like people in a family, or like maybe you work for like a family business, and it's kind of like they're both kind of working together. For some reason, they throw some obstacles in your way for the month of September. But what I'm hearing, because this is related to desk, not only is it maybe career related because desk, right? But also that it's like, if this is your boss, pile number 3, it's that they give you something to look over, and you have to be very extra careful about the way that you look over it. Okay, or something that, like, if you get a feeling that they did something wrong, in a mature way, right? And I expect that you would, pile number 3, but in a mature way, maybe double check it kind of in a subtle way. There's something about paying really close attention to your work when it comes to someone who is kind of in a position of power that's an air sign, or it's like, even if it's not a person that you're recognizing right now, pile 3, the King of Swords reversed can mean an energy within yourself to maybe like, I mean, especially hearing maybe you're kind of like extra tired at some point, and maybe you're kind of slugging along at work or whatever project you're working on, if not at work. And sometimes like a King of Swords and that energy can feel like, it's not really your fault. It's just like you're kind of tired. Maybe you just kind of miss things. So just be very extra careful when it comes to anything intellectually involved and details with your work in the month of September. Okay. And then the one card that they kind of shared was, the Chariot. Look at that. We have the Chariot, which is making sure that you have control over the reins. Also making progress, moving forward, having direction. All of those combined, okay? So if there's any piece of advice that kind of is shared with both of these, both maybe the person who, kind of gets in your way, tries to make you do something you don't want to because they're opinionated and egotistical, the chump, as we saw, as I spoke earlier. And same thing too with like the whole desk, paying attention, maybe a boss type thing, or it's like, just make sure if you're extra tired, pay close attention to your work, right? Just to keep focus on a certain goal, keep focus on your drive, keep focus on everything when it comes to handling like chaos. And just, I almost feel like part of this lack of attention to your work could be because you're being drawn in a lot of different directions. Perhaps that's where this Page of Swords comes in too, because a Page of Swords can be someone that's kind of like, they're intellectual and they're intelligent, but sometimes being so intellectual can get your like attention focused on so many different things, okay? Because they like to explore ideas. That's, the element of air and tarot, right? But just stay focused. Focus. That's your main piece of advice here, okay? And that will help you through these obstacles that we were seeing. I'm actually going to kind of just put this over here on top of that one to make some more room. I apologize, your desk is getting a bit, your spread is getting a bit cramped here. And then let's look at your timeline for the month of September, pile 3. All right, the timeline for September from first week to the end. Spirit, thank you for pile... Well, that was fast 3. Oh boy, everything's popping out. Maybe some unexpected things. Sometimes when cards come out like that, I see it as like, oh, there's a lot of unexpected things just flying out. Okay, so that was number 3, and then we had 1, 2. So the 7 of Swords reversed. Oh, okay. And the 8 of Pentacles. So a bit of a work focus again with the 8 of Pentacles having popped out. And then we'll talk about the 3rd card in a moment. And let's draw your 4th and 5th cards. Right there. Second one. Okay. 4, 5. Beautiful. So, pile 3. Let's draw the cards and then I'll explain them. Okay, so 3rd we have the Lovers reversed. Okay. Underlying theme of the month. Interesting. And then the 4th card is the 2 of Pentacles reversed. And then the final card is the 9 of Cups. Oh, beautiful outcome though, pile number 3. Awesome sauce. Okay, so what I'm hearing for you in terms of the timeline of September, pile 3. In the very beginning, so leading August into the first week of September, you have the 7 of Swords reversed, okay? Interestingly, this particular depiction is different mountain goats or rams. And what do rams and mountain goats do? They butt heads, right? They're stubborn. They're territorial. They butt heads. I think that's related to the person that might kind of get in your way. That Page of Swords we were talking about, the chump. We'll keep using that particular term because that's familiar and recognizable, right? The chump might get in your way. However, I'm going to say I feel like in the first week of September, because this is the Seven of Swords reversed, it's like a trickery revealed or a deception revealed. I think that problem is going to go away very quickly in the very beginning. Okay, so I don't see that as an overarching problem over the month of September. That's going to be dealt with in the very, very first week, okay? So just be aware of that. I think you'll be fine. I think it's going to go away real fast. I think, even if they tend to get in your way, as I said, it's not a major bad problem. It's just kind of like a little bit of a butting heads. And then they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. I guess you're right. Okay. And then they go from chump back into maybe nicer again, right? After they realize, oh, maybe I'm not the smartest person around with this particular idea, right? So I do see that for the very beginning. So that kind of is like the major thing for the first week. Now, leading into the second week of September, or first into second week, I should say, you have the Eight of Pentacles here. We have people planting gardens, right? We have a little girl watering down here. It almost looks like an older couple up at the top, harvesting some things. And the Eight of Pentacles, pile 3, is all about hard work. Now, that might be where the desk comes in. Just pay special attention to your hard work in the second week or so of September, because it is not only a card representing that there is going to be a week of great progress with your work because you are hard at work with the Eight of Pentacles energy, but also pay attention to your work is another message that the Eight of Pentacles can portray. Okay, so pay attention to your work, especially in the second week of September. I think that's where you might fall into maybe some problems a little bit if you're not paying close attention to your work. However, now that you watch this reading, take that into the second week of September, you'll be just fine. Okay, that's the beauty of your tarot readings. They can help give you advice on avoiding bad things. Okay, now leading into the third week, or the middle, kind of between the second and third week, pile number 3, also kind of the overall theme of the month, I see the Heart of the Matter card here, is the Lovers reversed. The Lovers reversed, pile 3, is all about disharmony in relationships. Or sometimes another traditional meaning can mean having some issues between a choice of some sort. Lovers can mean a choice if not relationship related, right? So I think that might be where some of the feeling comes up of you wanting to stick the landing, of going from somewhere from the known that's comfortable, like with your pile leader we were talking about, and then into the unknown, and then it's just like shooting to the moon, as astronauts did. You stick the landing, right? There's that doubt in the middle of the month, okay? And I think part of what you're trying to stick the landing with is something related to other people in terms of... Now, I say lovers, and immediately people are going to think, oh, that's with like a romantic partner or something, or like a relationship of some sort that is romantic. Doesn't always mean that, pile number 3. Lovers can represent platonic relationships. It can also represent, as I said, like a choice of some sort. So it's like you venturing into that unknown a little bit more into the middle of the month, okay? Feeling like, oh God, am I going to stick this landing? Okay, I shot my lander off, right? There it goes. What's going to happen? How is it going to land? Okay, and that does extend a little bit into the Two of Pentacles here reversed for the third into fourth week or so. That can mean a feeling of imbalance. All right, but it's a deception, pile number 3. So hear me out. You might hear that and go, uh-oh. But hold on, hold your breath, right? Because at the very end you have the Nine of Cups, which is wishes granted. That is your moon landing. That is, Houston, we no longer have a problem. That is one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. Hence the moon landing, right? So what I'm hearing here, pile number 3, is you're going to feel shaky or on shaky ground. That's the unknown we're saying about middle of September into the third week. You're going to feel like maybe some things are kind of disharmonious with other people. You might kind of feel like, oh God, I don't know what choice to make. Because remember when we talked about the unknown earlier, it's kind of a feeling of like that discomfort with feeling we don't have enough information to go forward, at least in a comfortable way, right? That's the fear of the unknown, is really what the fear of unknown is, pile number 3, is the discomfort of not knowing. Okay, hence being an unknown, right? But it's a deception, as I said, because really what it is, pile 3, and this is going to apply to each and every one of you in a different way, is you'll realize in that third week or so with that Two of Pentacles reverse that it's really not a disharmony. It's just a slight disbalance, or imbalance, I should say. That's the right word. A slight imbalance in resources and or like time or money. Okay. It could be, if it is relationship related that you're trying to stick a moon landing on, right? It's that you just need to slightly balance your resources out a little bit more in some area. So like with a relationship, that can mean time, obviously. That's like a major thing, right? Or if it's related to a job where you're feeling kind of disharmony at this job, especially if maybe like the Page or the King of Swords that we saw up here are kind of causing some issues, right? It's just like slightly more time or balance or like resources into things will help fix those problems, especially too, like we were saying, with paying attention to your work. Now, I did see that as more like the second week of September, but make sure to maintain that all the way throughout September. Because when you pay more attention to something, it's like you're investing more time into something, okay? So just be aware of the balance of things in the third week of September, pile number 3, okay? And that will help you get through this uncertainty. And you're going to feel like, because of these things cropping up, oh crap, everything's going to crap, right? You know, uh-oh, we're not going to, Houston, we have a problem, right? And then beautifully in the last week of September, you have that landing, the 9 of Cups. We made it. We might have had to have used a pen. Really, really had to maybe kind of, make a makeshift fix quick in order to get that where we're supposed to go. But we made it. We're on safe ground. I mean, even when you look at this particular 9 of Cups, pile 3, is that, how do they call that? Wakeboarding? I can't remember. I don't know. I don't have a lot of ocean-oriented hobbies because I don't live near the ocean. But I think it's called surfboarding, wakeboarding. I think it's wakeboarding. The one where you stand. Anyways, correct me in the comments down below if you know what it's called. But what I'm noticing is she's going from like kind of shaky, watery area into solid ground. Like she's coming back to shore. Oh, everything went well. Okay, so if you feel shaky in those 3 to 4th weeks of September, as I said, deception, you're going to stick the landing. It's going to be fine. Wishes granted, you're going to get what you're searching for. So really the month of September for you, pile 3, is going from a time of, gotta pay more attention, things feel kind of imbalanced, and then at the end, I really didn't have to worry like I thought I did. That unknown that I feared, I stuck the landing. I really didn't have to worry in the end anyways. I got my wish granted. So whatever your goals are for the month of September, pile number 3, deceptively, I think you'll retain them in a way that you don't expect. Okay. As long as you pay attention and focus on balance and work hard, which I'm sure you will. But do pay attention to those things. Now, let's look at your final 2 oracle cards, pile number 3. Anything else you want to say to pile 3 about their September spirit? Thank you. Anything else? Advice, things to look out for? Oh boy. Okay, we've got 4C. Look at that. 4C. Okay, and then the other card that popped out was Barrier. All right, so I think the Barrier is probably related to that feeling in the third to kind of the 4th week a little bit, or middle into third, of like something feels like it's in the way, or it's like worse than you actually, or you expect it to be worse than it actually is. Okay, you might need to make some makeshift fixes like the pen, as I was using as a metaphor, but at the end it's like the barrier kind of like fizzles away here as it does in the card. Okay, so it's also a month of breaking barriers, getting through, just like you would. Once again, I'm sorry to use so many astronomy references, but breaking through the barrier of the atmosphere off of Earth. Okay, we made it through, we're fine. Houston, no problem. And then with 4C, it's like seeing the future. Also, we have the imagery of time with the clock here at the very bottom. Seeing into the future. Everything is defined closer up, but that feels kind of less defined. That's like that unknown we were talking about, that fear of the unknown. This is just a card, I think, intuitively I'm hearing pile 3 from your spirit guides saying, although you might not foresee the end of this month, pile 3 right now, as we do with all months that we go through, right? Even if when things feel undefined, keep going, okay? Even if you feel like you don't see the next step, keep launching for that moon. Keep going for it, okay? And you'll make it there, all right? I do want to draw, I'll just draw one more tarot card though on the 4C. I do want to see a little bit more if there's any other message with that. I'm feeling drawn to do that, pile 3. So any other message with the 4C card, Spirit? Thank you. Okay, they're saying this one. The Eight of Cups, emotionally moving on. We have a card about progress and another card about progress. Oh, that's what it is, pile 3. You're going to emotionally move on past something faster than you expect. You think you're not going to, but you will. So whatever you feel like you've been having some struggles emotionally moving past, even if you don't know it quite yet, it might be something that you don't know right now in terms of like August, pile number 3. But despite that, it's like you're going to be able to move past it so much faster than you normally would, or like than maybe typically you do. Interesting. I'm going to see if there's any intuitive messages with that here as I draw your card, pile 3. They're saying something about like you're going to slide right through. You know, that's another theme that's just coming out, pile number 3. This month is going to be a lot easier than you expect to. I think, as I said at the very beginning, I think you're going to worry a lot more than you actually need to. And it's understandable at the time why you do worry throughout the month of September, but at the same time, spirit guides are saying, like, when you tend to go into maybe a tendency for over-worrying in September, pile 3, always ask yourself, am I fearing this because I know it's something to fear, or am I fearing this because I think it's something to fear? That's what they're saying with that. And then we have another synchronicity, pile 3, beautiful card to end your reading with today. We have limits. Limited versus limitless. Speaking of sticking moon landings and breaking limits and getting through barriers, the sky is the limit, pile number 3 for you this month, okay? I think your limits are more ideas you have in your head. Your barriers are more ideas you have in your head, things that you worry about, rather than what they actually are. There's a lot about in this month of deception of the mind in terms of what you're capable of, and deception of the mind in terms of what are actual obstacles. You're going to feel like there's going to be a lot more problems than you're going to think there's going to be a lot more problems than there actually are when you get to them. It's like walking towards a bridge and feeling like, oh God, this bridge is broken. How am I going to ford over this? Oh my God, this river is going too swift. I'm going to have to swim across, or I got to do this, or maybe I got to build the bridge back up again. And then you get there and you realized, oh, the bridge isn't broken. I can just walk right over. It's that kind of feeling, pile number 3. Okay, so please just try to reduce your worry in the month of September. I do see really good things coming for you, especially with that 9 of Cups we talked about being like the wishes granted card, right? And please think about, ask yourself in September, how can I transcend limits rather than set limits for myself? How can I dream of landing on the moon rather than thinking about every single reason why I can't? Okay? And that's my best advice for you in September. Well, also your spirit guide's advice to you. So there's your reading for September, pile number 3. Beautiful month ahead for you, I am seeing, other than, maybe some little things to work through. But as we always say, in real life, as life goes, it's not always 100% rainbows and sunshine, but I do see a lot of sunshine for you at the end after the worrying parts, okay? Or the parts that you worry about, I should say, okay? Don't fear the unknown, leap into it. So, if you liked the reading, if it helped you, and of course, if it resonated with you, please like the video, comment down below, or subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.